I have got a banger. A really exciting video for you today. In this video, what I'm going to do is walk you through the entire system, organic system that currently generates me 20 to 30 appointments every single day for my high ticket business. I'm really excited to share it with you because this has changed my life. It's made me millions of dollars, and what I'm going to do is basically take you to 30,000 feet and walk you through the entire system at a bird's eye view so you can understand how to build it for your own business and in the process hopefully make a lot of money. My mission with this channel is to make client acquisition easy for everyone that deserves it to be easy. A lot of people find it hard to get clients. I don't want you to be one of them. I don't want to sell you a 997 course or send you to a webinar or give you some free training. I do sell a high ticket program, but I'm not going to talk about that in this video until the very end. So you don't even have to listen if you don't want to. That's my transparency over. My name's Charlie Morgan. I've built and scaled 2 companies, an agency to 7 figures and a coaching business to multi 7 figures. And like I said, I just want everyone to find acquisition easy because it sucks when it's hard. So in this video, hopefully I can contribute to making it a little bit easier for you, and I hope you find it useful. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I'm going to cut the clip in now.
All right, guys. So behold, in all of its glory, my inbound acquisition system. And like I said, I'm really excited to share this with you. Before I do, this is what it produces, right? This is just to demonstrate that I'm not chatting shit, I'm not capping, I'm not being sus. This is how many appointments we've generated in the last 90 days. This is our Calendly analytics, the admin view. What you can see here is we've generated 1,600 appointments for our program using this system. You know, you can see the reps down here, you can see the channels and the events. The thing works, it's a machine, right? And it makes us a lot of money, generates us a lot of appointments, and I'm excited to share it with you. I'm also, by the way, if you've never listened to Love Tonight, Slowed and Reverb, you should listen to it. It'll change your life. But anyway, let's get into the video. So what I'm going to do is walk you through my system. I'm going to explain it to you in full form. And then what I'm going to do is give you a few steps and, sort of how to get started with this, if that makes sense. So I want to sort of walk you through the high level. And once I've done that, I'll walk you through the steps on how I basically built it and how I'd rebuild it if I had to again. God forbid. I hope I don't get cancelled, right? So this is what it looks like basically. And what we do is we can sort of break this down into 4 different pillars. So on this board here, it all starts with distribution, and then we have content, and then we have strategy, and then we have relationships. And what this means is, like, you can look at inbound. You don't want to look at it in a silo, right? This is the first lesson, is you want to look at inbound, not just as like a YouTube channel or a Facebook profile. You want to look at it as if like you're doing a multi-platform approach constantly all the time. You have to be omnipresent like God, basically. And so what that means is if you look at the distribution platforms and the opportunities that you have to basically build rapport with clients, this is what it looks like. Now, let me give you a piece of advice that I learned from Andrew Kirby, right? The idea of inbound is to create goodwill with your niche. That is the sole objective, is to create goodwill, is to provide value at scale and to give as much away as you possibly can and make people as happy as you can, so that you basically exchange value for love from the niche, which gives you authority, which obviously in turn pays you back. And so that's the first objective here, is to create goodwill. And I learned that from Andrew Kirby. Andrew, if you're watching, I love you, and I also want to go for dinner with you because we live 10 miles away from each other. But sorry for another day. So distribution platforms, right? We've obviously got YouTube. Now, if you are not building a YouTube channel end 2022, early 2023, or any year from now on, you are going to get left behind. I can firmly say, aside from partnering with my business partner and hiring a certain few team members, or all my team members because I love them to bits, building a YouTube channel was the single best business decision that I have ever made, right? Aside from partnering with the person I partner with, hiring the people I hired, and just putting all my attention and energy into a product, YouTube's like the most important thing, right? Aside from those things. So if you haven't got a channel, get one. And I don't want to hear excuses like, oh, but I'm introverted, or oh, blah, blah, blah. It's easy for you to say because, you can talk and you're confident. The truth is that I never used to be like this. I used to hate the idea of making content. I always thought it was a waste of time. I always just thought it was a vehicle for ego. But it has dawned on me, and I've realized that I must adapt, right? What Darwin said, the strongest, fittest survive, most adaptable is really what matters, blah, blah, blah. YouTube is where it's at, right? And if you're not on YouTube and you're not building a brand or like some sort of goodwill, it's like a machine of goodwill, you're going to fail. What you do with YouTube is you exchange value for attention, right? That's the first principle of YouTube, is you produce value in exchange for attention from the market. And then you can leverage that attention to build trust, and you can convert that trust into appointments. And when you can do that, this sort of thing happens, right? Beyond that, Facebook group. The second most powerful inbound thing you can have at present, in my opinion, is a good Facebook group, right? But what the cool thing here is, basically, you can take your YouTube channel and tag your Facebook group in every description of your video. So these things grow in tandem, right? Facebook will promote your group as it gets more members, and in your group, you can promote your YouTube channel. But then then YouTube, as you get more subscribers, YouTube will recommend your YouTube videos to more people. And so what we can do is we can create this feedback flywheel between the two most powerful platforms to acquire clients and build trust online. And that's basically just the YouTube to Facebook group flywheel, where they sort of feed into each other. And so, if you've got a YouTube channel, you might as well have a Facebook group because you can build that thing as well. Then beyond that, we've just got profiles, right? So we've got Facebook profile, which is pretty cool. You've got your email list. The email list is an interesting one because I only use my email list to notify people of my videos. My entire inbound strategy is built solely around YouTube, and I'll explain what that means in a sec. Then you've got your LinkedIn profile, Instagram, TikTok, and then beyond that, you've got something like Twitter as another social platform. And then really you've got team member profiles. So if you've got team members and they work for you and, they're doing sales or something, then they should be posting your videos because it helps people build rapport. And then beyond that, we've obviously got funnels and website and clients as referrals. But these are the main distribution channels that you can gather attention in exchange for value, if that makes sense. It really all sits at the top of YouTube. You need to sort of realize one thing here, right? And this is the core part of this strategy, is that obviously the objective is to generate appointment, right? And that's the whole point of this. And so you need to have some sort of funnel. And this is not, I want to preface this, I have no intention of, I don't want you to click this. I want to show you what the funnel looks like so you can see how many appointments we're booking with it, right? I don't care if you schedule or not. In fact, I don't think anyone can schedule at the moment because we're obviously fully booked. There's one time available. So you need to have a funnel, right? There needs to be a sales page that someone can go to learn about what you do to convert into an appointment. Because if you don't have this, then you're building goodwill for nothing, right? It's an exchange. But the point here is you want every single channel you have, social channel, whether it's TikTok, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, that should all feed into your YouTube channel, and your YouTube channel feeds into your funnel. Because YouTube is where you can provide the most value, right? In my opinion, YouTube it's an engine of value, right? If someone subscribes to your channel and consumes your content, that is where you will be able to provide the heaviest amount of value and give them the most. And so, I like people to schedule. I'd rather someone subscribe to my YouTube today and book a call in 3 weeks than come through Instagram and book a call now. Because the person that books in 3 weeks is more educated, more qualified, more committed, has more confidence and trust, which means the sales is easier and they're a better client for us. So you have to exchange the long to short term, time frames when you think about where you're scheduling your calls from. What I've done is I actually now have Instagram and TikTok. I have, avoided these platforms like the plague for a long time, and I realized I was being an idiot because it was the same thing I thought about YouTube. I was like, I don't need a YouTube channel. It's a waste of time. I'm just going to run ads, blah, blah, blah. Mistake, right? So I realized I've been doing the same thing. So I literally just started my Instagram and TikTok. You can go and follow me if you want. It's Charlie Morgan Social. Honestly, you're better off just sticking to YouTube for full transparency. I don't think you need another, chaotic distraction in your life, but you can follow there if you want to. And so, YouTube is the main thing because so the Instagram profile and the TikTok profile, they both link to YouTube. I don't think TikTok does now because you have to have a certain amount of followers, but both of these will link to YouTube, and then YouTube will feed into the funnel. That's really the point here. Same thing with the email list, right? So your email list should send people your YouTube videos, and then your YouTube videos send people to your funnel, right? And it's the same thing with the Facebook profile, right? Facebook sends people to YouTube, people from YouTube go to funnel. Same with LinkedIn, goes to YouTube, people go to funnel. I think LinkedIn actually has always gone straight to my calendar, and it has worked quite well. If you want to check out my LinkedIn profile and and how that works and how we book calls through that, it's pretty easy to emulate. And then the main thing obviously is the club we've got, this Facebook group. You can join this in the description if you want to, I don't really mind. But this is an awesome little powerhouse as well, because then what we do is the only things that we really post in this group for transparency are the YouTube videos. Like, here's a YouTube video. We don't really mess around with that, here's a cheat sheet. Comment me if you have a burning desire to get another shiny object. I don't do that because we don't need to. We've got too many appointments. Little subtle flex. I prefer to flex appointments, right? Instead of shit like Lamborghinis. So it's all about the YouTube channel. It's all about the channel. And let me tell you right now, right? So you might look at my channel and think, right, Charlie, you've got 9,000 subscribers as of you recording this. Of course you get lots of appointments. But here's the cool thing. I can tell you, if I go to my Calendly, right? So my channel only really started taking off in August. I had 2,000 subscribers in August, and now it's almost 10,000. So we're on an exponential curve. But if I go back here, right, let's just say between the months of May, and let's just say the start of August, when I had 1,000 subscribers or less, and I go apply, what we'll find here is that YouTube was still a powerhouse. It still booked 132 appointments down here, right? And so we can observe that even with, I was doing some serious damage with 200 subscribers. You can generate 3 to 4 sales calls a day with a small subscriber count of 500 if you're producing good content and those people trust you. And that's what I found is that and it's not about the subscribers, it's about the views. So when you're optimizing for YouTube, everyone looks at the subs subs, but the main thing to look for is views, because what we're doing is, once again, we are exchanging value for attention. Subscribers do not denote attention, views denote attention, and watch time denotes attention. The more watch time you have, right, and the more views you get, the better off you are, because the more watch time is the more value you're delivering to individual people that watch your videos. And the more views you get, obviously, like, more people are actually, you're making impressions on people. And I can tell you, we've built this business to the point where we're doing around $300,000 in lifetime revenue every single month. The cash collected is 150 to 200 grand. We've not run a single ad for this business at all. It's all been outbound, organic, pure pain. But now we're at the point where inbound is just taking over and it's actually out of control. We've got 3 reps and we can't handle the appointments. It hasn't always been like that. It's only been like that in the last month or two, but such is the nature of exponential change. So that's the distribution thing. Now, what you need to then do is you need to make some decisions around, like, what content are you actually going to produce, right? Because there's a few different types of content that you need to put into this machine. And what we need to realize is that this inbound machine, this engine of, appointments, is basically just value. But you can only deliver value in the form of content. And really, you need to make a decision. Once again, I got this from Andrew Kirby, props to him. You need to make the decision of, like, am I going to make text-based content or video-based content? I would be biased towards video because it works better, right? So in terms of content, you can make videos, you can do storytelling, you can make shorts and reels, you can provide resources, right? You can do newsletters, you can do reviews in terms of, like, testimonials and such of your programs. Obviously, you're not going to give a testimonial for yourself. That would be a little bit questionable, but you get my point, right? Unless you really loved yourself, but I think that'd be chaos. Pictures, just pictures of you, right? People like to know what you're up to sometimes. Value posts, etc., etc. You can sort of, decide what sort of content you want to make and stick to that. I would recommend just picking like 3 of these and getting really good at 3. Because I see people try and do inbound, and the problem they have is they try and do way too much. They start trying to produce like all of this content really fast. I just picked one thing. I was like, I just want to get really good at making really fucking good YouTube videos, and that's all I want to do for like a year and a half, and then I let someone else handle the rest of it. I don't do value posts. I don't give away resources. I don't post pictures of myself. I do shorts now, but I don't really tell stories and don't do anything else, basically. I just picked one thing and got really good at it. And I would recommend video because it's the strongest lever point. So then you have your strategy, which revolves around, like, are you getting people to message you? Are you sending people to a Calendly event? Are you sending them to a funnel? I've toyed with the idea of sending people straight to a Calendly event. But I don't like the idea of that, because I think that our landing page is primarily there to educate people and prime them so the sale is smoother, right? Because they're going to receive testimonials and they're going to see everything before they schedule, right? And that's that. And then the cool thing is that you basically get the relationships, right? Or the results from this. And you're going to get leads, you're going to get discovery calls, subscribers, sales, views, and followers. The main thing really is going to be the discovery calls that fly in at you. And, they will be like unlike anything else. And, just to show you, like, this is what happens, this is in like a couple of days, I think. Some things that we process. This is obviously the screenshot I showed you, and then obviously we get a bunch of good reviews, which is fun. But basically, like, when you build an inbound engine for your business, like, your market starts to really love you. And, like, I'm not saying that, like, the niche loves me, because I don't really want to sound like an absolute, twat. But my point here is, it's like, when you give and you give selflessly, you will receive in droves. But it just, there's a latency, there's a period of time between you giving lots of stuff and then receiving lots of stuff. And so the way that I see my YouTube channel, and this is what I teach clients when it comes to building inbound machines, is you want to imagine that your YouTube channel is like a scale, right? So it's like a scale like this. And basically, that's not really a scale. It looks like a disabled stick man. But basically, what you want to do is you want to visualize your YouTube channel as a scale. There's a quote from Benjamin Graham, who's Warren Buffett's mentor, that says that in the short term, the stock market is a voting machine. In the long term, it's a weighing machine. Companies that are weighed, a company will eventually be weighed on its value, right? What that means is that it's the same with YouTube. In the short term, the algorithm and the market votes on channels that are popular, right? And so some channels come out of nowhere and they become really popular and then they just blow up, right? So in the short term, that happens, where one channel can blow up, one channel can't. It's just a voting game. But in the long term, it's a weighing game. And what the algorithm will do and what the market will do after a period of 1 to 2 years of consistency is it will weigh your channel, right? And it will then decide, like, how much success should I give this channel? And it depends on the weight of your channel. And what do I mean by weight, right? Like, do I mean actual, like, in arbitrary kilograms? That's not what I'm saying. What you want to imagine, right? For this inbound machine, whatever it is, every time you produce a quick piece of content, what you're doing is you're putting a rock onto this scale, right? And so every time you put a rock on, right, because the rock is the content, every time you put a rock on, the scale gets slightly heavier, right? Every time you miss an upload, or every time you forget to produce content or produce bad content, then what happens is a rock is removed. So value can flow in, but it can also flow out. And it flows out when you miss uploads or when you produce shit content. But it flows in when you're consistent and when you're consistently good, if that makes sense. And so what I'm trying to do here with this YouTube channel is just try and add as much value as humanly possible by stacking rocks. So every time I make a video, I imagine that I just deposit another rock on this scale. And after you've done this for like, all of these times, you just keep on stacking it. And then every now and then, you'll come along and accidentally or maybe intentionally produce like a really big rock, like a video that adds a huge amount of value to the market, and it gets loads of views and it adds huge amounts of value. And then maybe you add another little rock here and a little one there and a little one here, and you just sort of keep adding them. Then you build maybe a medium-sized one, another one, and this is all you're doing with your channel and your inbound machine. Your social profiles, your value posts, your storytelling, like whatever you've decided to do, like your tweets, whatever it is, you're just adding value, right? And then what starts to happen, is this thing just piles up and piles up over time. What you'll start to see, and I'm going to go into my YouTube stats in a second to show you the impact of this. What you'll start to see is like there's a time elapsed between all of this going in and the market actually weighing you. So you imagine that you're putting all of this in, and then there's this massive lapse of time between all of these inputs of value and the weight of the scale and the market and the algorithm coming along and actually measuring you. We want to be heavy, right? You want your channel, you want your inbound machine to weigh a lot, and it needs to weigh a lot of value. And I see a lot of people, the other thing people try and do is they come along and they think that, they forget what Benjamin Graham said, and they just think that, the market is a voting machine. And they produce this shiny content, that doesn't really add any value. But in the short term, for some reason, for whatever weird reason, the market and the algorithm gives them all the success in the world. But in the long term, they flop. And this is happening. This is happening before our eyes. And I'm not going to name names, but there are people out there who have built their inbound machines on content that just isn't that good in contrast to other people's content. They've made a lot of money, they've built a big following, but their reputation is starting to crack. And it's a really interesting thing to observe. So when you're building an inbound system, you cannot think in days, you cannot think in months, you probably shouldn't even think in years, you should think in decades, right? I want to build this channel to be an asset for the next 20 to 30 years. I don't want to build it to be an asset for the next 2 to 3 years. I don't want to build it to be an asset for the next month. And I don't want to build it to be an asset for tomorrow. Although it's the real big result comes in 20 to 30 years, because the longer you can wait to be weighed, the more opportunity you have to add value, the bigger the payday comes the longer you wait. That's how I look at it, and that's how I'd start with the end in mind. Now, if I show you my YouTube channel here and we go to my analytics, and if we look at my channel, right, first of all, like my estimated revenue, in case anyone's curious, if I go to my analytics here, is about 2K from YouTube this month. But what's happening here, right, is exponential growth. And this is purely because I've been stacking my YouTube channel with value, right, and stacking my inbound system and my inbound engine with rocks of value for, years, but for about a year and a half. So if we scroll down here, right, what we can see is I've just been ruthlessly consistent with this thing. Like every week I've been uploading 3 videos. At the beginning it was just 2, but I've just been working on this thing, and like every time I upload, just another little rock. And then sometimes, I'll upload like a video that will do really well, and then it'll be a slightly bigger rock. And then I'll upload a smaller one that isn't as good, but it will still add value, right? And all I'm trying to do here is just pile this on. So when the market comes to weigh me, which has happened in the last couple of weeks, the market's like, oh, like this is a heavily valuable channel. Let's just start recommending it to everyone. And that's really how YouTube works. And that's how, these inbound machine works. And we can observe this by, observing my growth here, which is, still in its infancy, which is obviously quite exciting. And it's actually quite intimidating as well. I've never had like so many eyeballs on me just suddenly. It hasn't been gradual. Like if we observe this growth, right, and we look at my subscribers, what we can see is like the total subscribers here, we're just starting this exponential curve. And by subscribing, you contribute to this, which is really cool. And I'd appreciate if you did that. This is how it works. I was sort of plugging along, 400, 500, 600, 700, 1,000. And then it starts to sort of do something cool. Like, okay, 2,000 subscribers. Oh, damn. Like we're still sort of, going a little bit slow. We get to 3,000, then 4,000 on this sort of still linear curve. And then suddenly just in like a month, it just like doubled. And then I'm hoping, I don't hope anything against an algorithm because it's a poor strategy, but I would anticipate or perhaps expect this sort of growth to continue because the value is there. And I need to continuously add more value, which is why I'm putting more time and attention into YouTube at the moment, just to continuously fuel this fire that is the content machine. And the biggest piece of advice I can give you to achieve this is just the consistency, because what everyone does is they look at what I started doing in October to figure out why I suddenly suddenly doubled my subscriber count. They look at it and they start looking at the videos like, how did this happen? But what you need to look at is the 18 months prior to that month, because it's just been building and building and stacking and stacking and stacking. And then the market decided to weigh me on the 16th of October, and then suddenly out of nowhere, boom, you're done. That's how it works. And the longer you wait, the better the reward. So that's that. And let me leave you with this in closing. You need to have good intentions. And I'm not trying to virtue signal here because it sounds like I am, but my point here is that the easiest way to do this and the best way to sort of achieve this level of growth is to make content. Obviously you're doing it for yourself because you're human, you have personal incentives to grow and make money and have, a better life, but you need to actually try to make the videos and the content for the person, not for yourself. As soon as your channel becomes a way just to serve you and not the person you're trying to make the video for, then it really starts to fall apart. So that's my strategy for inbound. It's going to be a really interesting one to watch. I've still got a lot to learn, and I still don't feel as if I am completely qualified to teach people this, because it's only, it's been working really well for us for like a year, but I still feel like there's so much to learn about it. And, as I learn more, I will continue to give you guys information on what I find works and stuff. But if I just want this video to act as a, inspiration, if you'd like, a call to action, like to do it, to build it, because in 2 years, your future self will thank you. So present Charlie thanks past Charlie for putting in all this work to YouTube, because boy, oh boy, has it been wonderful. Listen guys, like I said at the start, I don't want to try and sell you something or hard pitch you something. There's a link in the description. If you click it, it will explain how we can help you acquire more clients. We have a program, you have to pay for it. You don't have to click the link. I don't mind. It's there for you if you want to click it. We don't actually have any availability for appointments at the moment, so there's not much point in trying. But in the future, if you ever do want to look at what we do, you're more than welcome to, but I don't want you to feel obliged or like you have to. With that said, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, you should like it, because then it gives the algorithm an incentive to show you other videos like this one. Comment any video ideas you've got, right? If you have any requests or videos you want me to make, just pop in the comments. Please subscribe, because it really helps me and it makes me really happy. I really appreciate you sticking around and watching, and I really love you for taking the time to actually watch all the way to the end. I am so grateful for you, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for giving me your attention today, and I will look forward to no doubt seeing you in the next one. Mwah! See you later.